Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Joe Show. I'm your host, Joseph Decker. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in early once again, as always. Today should be a really, really good show. We got a lot of topics to speak on, a lot of information I'm going to be talking about, a lot of new moves around the state that people are interested to hear about. And, there's also some things kind of going around, some rumors, some talks. So we'll kind of address some things. I'll give my opinion on some situations. A lot of people have been talking. A lot of people have opinions on things that I know a lot of people were asking to hear me talk about and give my opinion on. So we'll talk about it a little bit, but we also have some big time, what's the word I'm looking for here? Categories of the show tonight we'll talk about. That I know everybody's excited to hear about. We're going to talk about some of the top transfers around the state this year. Who do I think will be the most impactful transfers in the state of Kentucky? Players that I think are destined for breakout seasons. There's a lot of players who are going to be getting bigger roles. There's a lot of players who's going to be more involved, more used, and kind of get that opportunity they've deserved over the past few years. So that's going to be big time. There's some sleeper teams I think that need to be addressed. We might save that for another video. I think our next podcast we might, unless we get some guests on today. I just wanted to do a talk podcast where it's just me, no guests. I just kind of wanted to get on here and speak a little bit. I realized that last show that we did, the viewership really doubled. It did really good toward the end when it was just me kind of giving my opinion on things. So I thought it'd be cool to just come on here and talk a little bit. But we'll be having guests coming on again soon, probably within the next week or two, doing some more shows. And I know you guys are excited for that. We're going to try to put out some of the better guests in the state again. We always try to get the best players, the top names, the kids that everybody want to see, kids that might not get a lot of attention, but they deserve it. And we do everybody on here, so I'm really excited to see who else we can have join the Joe Show. And once again, like I always say, it's not possible without you all. Some topics we'll be talking about tonight, like I said, breakout seasons, impactful players, sleeper team, and then coaches that I think are going to be having huge seasons, years to prove themselves. I have 7 or 8 names beside me that I want to talk about. There'll be other names that'll definitely come to mind, some other coaches that I want to give their love and flowers, but these are the main names that really come to my mind, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about these guys. And no, I'm really excited to talk about it because there's a lot of special names, and I want to give some of these coaches some love because they show me a lot of love and I want to pay it back. Right now, I'm going to have my head tilted a little bit, trying to look on the phone. Going to try to get this all put out on social media. We got a lot of people tuning in today from all realms. We got people coming on from Instagram, joining on Twitter. We just got a lot of people coming to tune into today's show. So wanting to make sure everybody can get a hold of the show tonight. Everybody can tune in and watch. There's been some news out of Kentucky recently that's been shocking a lot of people. We've lost a lot of talents out of state, man. The prep schools and the kind of bigger schools are really getting some of our guys, and it sucks because losing them. But I 100% understand it, man. And that's something I want to talk about a little bit first. A lot of kids are going the prep direction. A lot of kids are going the prep route. They're deciding to go out of state, play for an EYBL Scholastic school, maybe a military academy, maybe something that has a bigger name, more college players produced, and it sucks seeing them leave the KHSAA. Because that's where we are. That's what we cover. That's kind of the biggest deal. That's what everybody wants to hear and see. See these kids play in front of Kentucky in the Kentucky competition. But a lot of times, as much as it sucks to say, the exposure and the development, and the chances and opportunities are better elsewhere. And that's why you're going to see a lot of these players make this decision. Like I said, man, it sucks. It really does. We don't want to see any of these guys leave, and we'd love to keep them as long as we can. And sometimes we have kept them as long as we can. Sometimes they overstay. Sometimes they stay a little longer than they plan on. Sometimes they never want to leave Kentucky, but it's best for them. And, you'll always have guys who have the opportunity to leave Kentucky. They can go play at another level. They can go play at a different school. They can go play at a different school, not just out of state, but even in Kentucky. There's a lot of schools where you could be like, well, I want to go to Louisville and I want to play for this coach, this guy. And, but a lot of kids never end up doing it. So, there is a lot of loyalty still. There's a lot of guys who have opportunities. Malachi Moreno was one who had a lot of opportunities to go play at different prep schools, play at different schools around the country. But he decided to stay home, win a state championship, and solidify his name in the Kentucky history books, going down as one of the best KHSAA players of all time. And I know that means a lot to him. His loyalty is respected by everybody, and that's why I think he's such a big name in the state of Kentucky. And I have so much tremendous respect for Malachi, and I was really excited to see he stayed. He made a lot of games this year fun, and I think he made a lot more people around the country kind of realize how good the talent is in Kentucky with a top 25, top 20 guy committing to Kentucky, making the McDonald's All-American game, being ranked a 5-star, and being from Lexington. So there are some people that still stay, and they make this state special. And that's what, at the end of the day, matters, especially to the KHSA fans like myself. But like I said, I'm always going to support these kids' decision, always going to support the things they do, and I'm always going to be behind them. Fernandez Wright goes to La Lumiere instead of staying at Fairdale. I'm a huge Fairdale guy. I love Coach Stinnett. I love what they got, but I'm going to support Fernandez Wright to the end of time. I'm always going to support him and be in his circle. He's going to a great spot where he's going to develop. He's going to get better. He's going to play against better competition every day, and he's going to kill. He's going to have a great career up there. Whether he just stays this year or maybe he leaves next year. Maybe he finishes out his high school career there. I don't know how that'll go. There's a lot of things that we got to see happen before then. But that's just one for instance. But let's talk about this real quick. Let's get into a little bit of a show topic. I don't have a graphic for it, so it's just going to stay here. Making sure we got this up on Instagram. Just shared it and sharing it to my Snapchat story. I'm making sure everybody can see the show, man. That's what makes it special. But today, one thing I want to talk about big time is high school coaches that I think are destined for big seasons. And it doesn't have to be a 30-win year. It doesn't have to be a 25-win year. But there's some coaches that I think, man, they're just going to have a really good postseason. I think they're really going to solidify themselves as one of the better coaches in Kentucky. I think they're going to make a lot of noise, and I think they're going to be a team that you have to see. And let's go ahead and talk about one of the top guys that I have written down here. And it's one of my good friends, Jordan Gilbert. Coach Jordan Gilbert was at Greene County last year when they had one of their best seasons they've ever had, made a deep little region run, didn't get it done, but they made a run at region. They won over 24 games, and I think they went 24-4 on the year. I'd have to look it up, but that's just off the top of my head. Coach Gilbert no longer with Greene County. They have Coach Montrell Irvin now, who also I think will have a good year. But Coach Jordan Gilbert taking over Nelson County, who has a lot of good talent, believe it or not. It's not a school that gets brung up a lot of times. It's not a school that's talked about like crazy, but they really do have a lot of talent in Nelson County. And I'm really excited to see how things go there. He's got underrated guys. He's got underrated dudes. He's going to set a culture there. These guys are going to fight. These guys are going to want to win. They're just going to, at the end of the day, play better than what their name is. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of kids that's not the big name recruit. They don't have college offers, but they're going to go out there and they're going to get the job done, and they're going to show, who they are. Their name matters. I think there'll be some kids from Nelson County over the next few years who get some national love and attention. I think there'll be some kids who kind of get those college offers, get looked at, finally get the love that they deserve. And they deserve it, man. They 100% do, because there's so many kids like that, around the state. I feel like every time I'm on the podcast, we're talking about guys from, I say the three big cities, Louisville, Lexington, and Bowling Green. But there's so much talent everywhere, and we know that. I always try to give a lot of love to the Western Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky fans. But man, it's just like there's so much talent out there, but they just do not get the media coverage. They don't get the love and attention. I've said one thing, D&D Sports Network in Eastern Kentucky, my guy Daryl does a phenomenal job highlighting the mountains in Eastern Kentucky. There's only so many people there, so they obviously can't be at every game every night, but they're always usually at the big game covering the top guys. But they also show the lower, the kind of guys that don't have the respect, maybe don't have the offers yet, love and respect as well, which is why I respect them so much. We don't have anybody like that in Western Kentucky. When I mean Western Kentucky, I mean the first and second region. I could be looking over somebody, excuse me. If there is somebody, that'd be huge, but hopefully we can start getting Western Kentucky a lot more love. I know with the runs of Travis Perry and Lyon County, it definitely put a lot more spotlight on Western Kentucky. So maybe we can see some more love over there. But I'm just saying, we got so much talent. So there's a lot of guys. Looping back to what I was talking about, Jordan Gilbert, Nelson County's going to be good. He's kind of giving them a rebrand. Their court's new. They're getting new uniforms. Everything's going to be new. There's going to be a breath of fresh air. And that's one thing Coach does, and that's what I have so much respect for Coach Gilbert is, he'll take over a program that's not had a lot of success in a while. He'll take over a program that's been disrespected. He'll take over a program that may have been overlooked. And, he'll go in there and he'll kind of clean out house. And I'm not saying he goes go and fire everybody and kick players out, but he kind of makes it a new space. He kind of redoes it. He's a great house designer, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. Everything's going to be new when Coach Gilbert gets a hold of it. And I like it. They got a breath of fresh air up there in Nelson County. Me and him text it back and forth. There's some talent up there that we have to watch out for and see. So I'm excited to see what Nelson County has in store. The 5th region is going to be pretty solid this year. Last year it was really good, but this year it's going to be really solid. There's going to be some top-heavy teams like Caverna, which is why we transition into our next coach. I want to talk about Coach Josh Pittman. Recently announced Coach Josh Pittman in his new position at Caverna, being the head coach. I talked about his recent success and the things he's done. He's coached at all levels of college, and he's succeeded and he's won. When he was at Manhattan, they had the highest ever team GPA when he was an assistant. He's a big-time winner. He's a guy who likes to push kids. He likes to set a culture, and he likes to set a standard. He's joining a team in Caverna that's got so much talent, and I want to talk about Caverna a little bit because they're a team that's been mentioned in a lot of talks recently because they've got so much talent around them, and they've got a lot of new faces. The Caverna Colonels' new look roster this year is a lot of fun. You know, they were recently, and I'll kind of give a timeline of how things went down. They hired Coach Richard Gatewood, who brought alongside Davier White with him. However, a lot of things have happened since then. Coach Gatewood has resigned. Davier White will not be at Caverna this season. So a lot of people's wondering, where will Davier White be? Where will he play? He's the number 1 ranked 27 in the state. We need to know where he's at. And, that's some news that'll be talked about soon. That's something that'll be announced a little later from now. I'm not going to say anything yet. That's not going to be posted. But Coach Gatewood, and then moving on. And then they hire Coach Josh Pittman. A lot of success at the college level, like I said. Good coach, really smart guy. I think he's going to be underrated at the start because some people's like, there's a lot. We got a lot of proven coaches here. We got a lot of guys who've won. We got a lot of guys who solidified themselves. So we got to see him win first. But I think he's going to have a lot of success in Horse Cave and at Caverna. I think it's a good situation. There's a lot of talent there. They added Gavin Lightning, who is on the picture below. He's going to be one of the most standout players you're going to see this season. He's going to fight for 5th Region Player of the Year. There's a very good shot he wins it. I'm not going to say if I put out a 5th Region Player of the Year prediction this year, it wouldn't be him because there's a good chance it is. And he's going to have a good year. They still remain Jalen Crane, one of the top 26 point guards in the state, Division I offered kid. Great player, a lot of upside. He's got a lot of potential. He continues to grow and improve as a player. They have the Martin twins, Tyson and Kenyon Martin. I think everybody's got a chance to see them. They're mainly football guys, but they're very good on the floor. It's hard to tell the difference. It's really hard to tell the difference. They're twins. The only thing different is that their tattoo is on one of each other's shoulder. It's on the different shoulder. So Tyson and Kenyon are great players. They shoot it well for their size, but man, they're insane rebounders. They're probably both 6'3", 240 apiece. So you never want to see them on the opposing low block. But Cortavian Maxey is another name who's going to go underrated. I like Cortavian's game and what he's got. He's a long, lengthy forward who can be athletic, who can show some really good flashes, shoots it well at times. He's a great player, man, and I'm excited to see how he does. Jason Graves and Cannon Allen. Cannon Allen is a move in from Glasgow. Really good shooter, man. I mean, he's got a chance to shoot in the high 30s to low 40%. He's going to be big for them. They're going to have him on the arc. They're going to have him on the perimeter. There's going to be games where guys like Gavin and Jalen are being shut down, and you got to have that guy to come in and hit some big threes. And I think that's exactly what he can do. However, Jason Graves can be the guy that can completely change this game and potentially change the outcomes of state, because a lot of people's talking and a lot of people think that the 5th region is going to be ran by Caverna this year. They're the favorites to most. And, a big thing that's going to happen in order for that to all end up, in order for them to make a state tournament run, even win region first, you got to get out of the district too, man. The district's never easy, but Jason Graves has to be big time. He's a 6'8" forward. I think he's taller, man. He's a 6'8" forward who shoots it very well, rebounds it well, and just if his motor continues to click and if he continues to play more and more physical and want it, he's going to be a college scholarship level kid. I don't know what range. I mean, I think he can definitely be a JUCO kid. For sure can be an NAIA kid. And now we're just talking, man, if he goes out there and produces this year, the sky's the limit for Jason. He's one of the tallest kids in Kentucky. He's got great measurables, and I think a lot of people's excited to see how he plays this season. I think they're going to shoot a lot of threes. I think they're going to be active. I think they're going to speed things up. I think they're going to run the floor. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to kill. I think he's going to have a lot of assist numbers, especially if he's down there rebounding. Like I said, with Jalen Crane, a lot of transition points, a lot of ways to get out in the fast break and kill. So I think Josh Pittman and Caverna's got a great team. I think he's going to come in there and set culture. I think he's going to come in there and set a statement on how he wants to play and how these guys have to act and how they have to abide by and these things. He's a Patino. he comes from the tree of coaches of Pitino. He was a student manager and assistant for them in the early 2000s when Coach Pitino was there. So, and I think we all know how Coach Pitino coaches his team, especially St. John's recently. He's going to be going in there and he's going to be on their necks. But, at the end of the day, he's going to get their best basketball. And I think we're going to see a lot out of Caverna this year. And even while losing Coach Gatewood and losing Davier White, there's still so much talent there, man, and they're going to be so good. Before we transition into the next coach, I want to talk about today's sponsors. I kind of usually do that at the start of the show, but I wanted to get more people in here so we can talk about them. Our behind-the-scenes guys, Ronald Scott Lindsay. One of our newest sponsors is Barron Family Farms, located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That is Brad Barron. Big thanks to Brad for sponsoring the podcast, man. He's a longtime supporter of the show. I'm a huge fan of what he does. He's a great guy. His son, Luke Barron, goes to Warren East, and he's a guy that's going to have a big time season this year. So really excited for the Barron family and what they got going on. I think a lot of success is going to happen there. And like I said, man, I'm really excited for dude and what he has in store. Luke's a great kid, and he's got a lot of potential this year. They do registered South Pole and Hereford cattle. We sell grass-fed beef, square and roundabout hay, and tractor parts. So I'm really excited for everything that's going to happen there with their business and how they've been taking off. I'm once again, I'm appreciative for him to sponsor the show. He's been around with us for so long time support of the show. H&W Dukes. That's Coach Josh Case, Chris Gooden, Sean Horde. The list goes on and on. They got so many great people around H&W Dukes. They're a top 10 Adidas distributor in the country, located in Campbellsville, Kentucky. They also have other locations. And once again, like I said, man, you got to get your team, you got to get your university, you got to get your event drip down Adidas. You got to be around Adidas. I'm wearing an Adidas shirt now as we speak. I plan on buying some shoes soon. So get in contact with Coach Hayes. Coach Case, and get your job done there, man. I big appreciate for them what they do in the sports community. A lot of Kentucky high school basketball isn't possible without them. So big thanks to them. Gravel Funeral Home is my guy, Roy Gravel, WKU super fan. He loves Kentucky sports, everything Kentucky sports. He's a great person. He's our longest tenured podcast sponsor. He's been with us since our first ever episode. So big thanks to Roy Gravel and everything he does. He's located in Brownsville, Kentucky, right as you get off the Brownsville Bridge. When you get into a crisis, when you get into a situation like a funeral and death, you want to have good people around you who can help you, but also lead you in a positive direction and be there for you in a tough time. And that's exactly what Roy Gravel does. So big thanks to Roy. Major League Movers is former Evanston County standout athlete Chaz Wilson. When you get in a situation that we're talking about here, where you got to move, you got to get out of the house, you might be relocating, you might be switching jobs, you might be going somewhere else. You got to get that stuff moved, and it's not a one-man show. You got to have help. You don't want to end up getting hurt. You don't want to be in a rough situation. So call Major League Movers, get a hold of them, and have them come to your house and help you. They got a great team. They do it at affordable rates. They got a lot of really good quotes, so they're trustworthy. They're great people. So make sure to check them out and show them a lot of love. This is their first week on as a sponsor, so I'm really glad to have them. I hope to have them again in the future. If you'd like to join the sponsorship group, contact me. We have a lot of anonymous donors and people who's donating from the back end, a lot of people who support us. If you'd like to join the sponsor group or be a donator, we'd love to have you. Support the #1 Kentucky high school basketball podcast. Let's promote your business in front of thousands of viewers, and I'm excited where the future is going to take us, and let's take your business there with us. So big appreciation to everybody who does it. If you want to get a hold of Major League Movers and have them help you, 270-202-5152. Let's get you home. That is Chaz Wilson and Major League Movers. Follow our social medias, Joseph Decker 23 and The Joe Show on IG, on Instagram. Today is a great Wednesday. A lot of kids starting school back, a lot of athletes who watch the show, a lot of guys that we watch every game this season are starting school right now. So God bless them. Have a great school year. I hope everything's safe and enjoy it, man. And let's get back into our show. So we're talking about coaches that are due for breakout years. And I just talked about him with H&W Dukes. He's coming off a really good year with Taylor County, but Coach Josh Case, man. Coach Josh Case came on here on the podcast and said it. He's not a guy that's going to live and die by the X and O's. He's not a guy who's going to necessarily get upset, get frustrated if a play don't work. But what he wants is his guys to run through a wall for him, to play their hardest basketball and play the best brand of basketball. And at the end of the day, that's what he's going to get, because he's got a lot of talent on his roster this year, led by one of the top point guards in the state in Cooper Stone. He's got Bryce Vernon. He's not just one of the best golfers in Kentucky, folks. He's one of the best shooters. This kid is electric. Bryce has a lot of game outside of that as well. And then he's led by Big Brighton, close Louisville commit down there on the block. But there's a lot of talent in Taylor County this year. But here's the thing, they faced some adversity. They've had some guys leave. They've had some things change up. So, there's going to be a little bit of a chip on Coach K's shoulder this year. He wants to prove a lot of people wrong. He wants to make noise. He wants things to happen, and he wants them to happen quick. He wants to see these guys succeed off the bat, but, he's also willing. Coach, I know how Coach K's is. He wants to see these guys get ready for later in the season when things are clicking, when it's region, when it's district time, because Coach K's wants to win in the postseason, man. And I'm just going to say, with the mentality and the energy he's coming off with right now, with how his team was willing to run through a wall for him this summer, Coach Josh K's in Taylor County is going to have a lot of success. And I think it's a no-brainer. I'm excited to see what they do. I think that district's going to be good this year with Adair, Campbellsville. So I'm excited to see how that plans out. Coach K's, man, great coach, great person. I think he's one of those guys you have to watch. Sean Woods at Scott County. We all know his history. We all know how good of a coach he is. We all know where he's coached at, Southern, Morehead State, multiple others I'm not mentioning. He's been an assistant. He's been a head coach. This guy's a winner, man. He knows good talent. And one thing about Coach Sean Woods, and when he was on the podcast, we talked about this, his game and his coaching takes a whole nother step when it's district and region time. Obviously, at the college level, it's conference play in the tournament, but when it gets to the postseason, man, he's a whole different coach, and his guys play so much better. They added a huge transfer, which we'll talk about transfer soon. I know a lot of people want to hear about that. And Bray McNear, who's going to be ginormous for them, transferring out of Collins. He's a 6'6", 2028, long arms, big body, can shoot it, can get to the rim. He's pretty skilled, and that's a thing when you talk about a 28, a 29, a younger guy. A lot of times they have a lot of these big athletic advantages, but we're still trying to see, man, can they get that skill work down? Do they have good footwork? And that's something that Bray McNear has a lot of. He's a very good basketball player. I'm excited to see what he does. Sean Woods in Scott County, they don't just have one of the most beautiful gyms in the country. They got a really good basketball team. They got a good coach, and they've got a lot of chance to make some noise in the 11th region this year. So I'm excited to see how that goes. And I think Sean's going to have him on the right path. Coach Tim Hayworth is probably the most success, or what would I say? How do I say this here? The most winning coach on here. He always wins. He always makes deep runs. He's won, I think, 8 regions. He's been to the state tournament. He's won these things. He's got trophies falling out of his pockets, people. But Coach Tim Hayworth last year went out a lot earlier than I think he expected and what a lot of people expected. But man, his team is talented this year. They added a new transfer today. It's kind of broke a lot of Twitter, man. We had uploaded and we had posted today on Next Up Recruits that Nehemiah Kaiser had transferred in to Louisville Male. He's the son of Louisville Cardinal Brian Kaiser, who played in the 90s, that a lot of people remember was a great shooter. And it's really broken the internet, on the Kentucky basketball side. I guess I shouldn't say the complete internet, because I'm sure there's other tweets out there doing crazy numbers, but a lot of people's been checking it out and seeing, who is this guy, Kaiser. So he adds another talented piece, but dude, Louisville Male's going to be good. James Clark, who is going to be talked about really soon again on this show, is going to be due for a breakout year. He's one of the best players in the state of Kentucky. With Cole Edlin going to Combine Academy in North Carolina, which I hope a lot of respect and for Cole and his decision. I have a lot of respect for Cole and his decision, and I'm also excited to see how he performs and how he plays there. I'm excited to see, man. I'm really excited. I really am. He's not just a shooter. He's got a lot of talented things to his game, and he's got a lot of flaws that I think he's ready to clean up and he's ready to improve. And I got so much respect for Cole and his game as a whole. He's a super fun player to watch, but Louisville Male's kind of got to move on. But here's the thing. It's not hard to move on when you have the roster they have. Jordan Mitchell, James Clark, Trey Hillerich, Nick Curry-Hill, Cornelius. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. Jackson Strite. There's so much talent on this team. Jaden Johnson's another name I didn't say. There's so much talent on this team, man, that a lot of us are kind of forgetting just how good they are. When you look at the most talented rosters in Kentucky, Louisville Male's going to be an instant favorite and instant talk. And now you got to see these guys put it together. But, I know the personality of the guys he has. I know how good these kids are. I think if they piece it together, they're going to be the favorite in the 7th. You have St. X, you have Ballard, you have Cal. There's a lot of teams who's going to make runs. Ultimately, I think a lot of people's going to think it's going to come down to Male and St. X. They're young, but they got so much talent. But Coach Hayworth and Male have a chance to be really good. I know he's got a great feeling about his team this year. He's got a great staff. And I think Louisville Male, I think Coach Tim Hayworth has kind of been getting disrespected recently. He's not been in a lot of conversations when people talk about best coaches. top teams. I think Mill's been putting out a lot of conversations, man, and I think they're about to get put in them all right again. So I have no worries in my mind how good they are going to be. You know, I think last year they're coming off a really good season, but I think they would have got a lot more love. But Cole Edlin goes out in December with an injury, so you never really got to see fully healthy Mel. When he eventually came back, you know, he actually slipped, and I think he hurt his back again in the district game. So you know, there's a lot of things that happened that went through their season. They had a lot of hiccups, and but at the end of the day, you know, they ended up having a very good season, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Michael Stinnett at Fairdale, he just lost the top 2027 in Kentucky, and for Landis Wright going to La Lumiere in Indiana. So how will he bounce back? Well, I'll tell you this: Coach Stinnett loves his basketball team, man. You know, he got a transfer in from Eastern named Raquel Johnson, who would run through a wall for him. He's a very, very, very good basketball coach, but he's got a point guard named Kamari Roberts. He's got Michael Ray Stinnett, who is to many the top shooter in Kentucky. So there's a lot of talent there at Fairdale in the 6th region. And the 6th region, as much as I hate to say it, is going to have a little bit of a down year. There's going to be top teams like J-Town, Fairdale, and I would say Butler. Yeah, Butler, J-Town, and Fairdale is going to be your favorites. You know, that's no disrespect to the other teams, but those are kind of the teams getting the most attention right now, kind of that we know on paper is going to be good. Now, I'm not saying that we can't go to a game in the 6th region this year and see that PRP is killing it, and man, we should have showed them more respect. But these are the top teams that I've seen so far, and I know they've got a chance to be really good. I slept on PRP a little bit last year, so I'm not going to let that happen again this year. But there's a lot of talent in the 6th region still, but it's a little weaker than last year when you lose Prince Complay, Cam McDaniels, Jackson McCutcheon, multiple other names. So I'm excited to see Coach Stinnett. He's a very smart offensive coach. He's got a good staff around him. They got a lot of guys that like to run and they like to play quick. And, you know, that's going to hurt a lot of teams, especially in that 6th region. So I'm excited to see how they do, excited to see how they play. And Fairdale's got a chance to be really good, man. The Bulldogs are great. Brad Meredith of Edmonson County, Kentucky. A sleeper team in the 3rd region, man. You know, the 3rd region is going to be headlined by Davis County and Grayson County. Those are going to be the 2 teams you're going to hear about the most this year. They got a lot of talent, man. So, you know, there's 100% a reason too. You know, Davis County goes to state last year. They return a lot of their guys. I think they returned 3 of their 5 starters in Caden Payne, Jonathan Moss, Aaron Watkins. So there's nothing against really riding that. Grayson County returns WKU commit Jack Loxton, a very talented 27 and 28 class. They add Jagger Martis back, and Brody Armstrong is fully healthy. So there's a lot of talent in Grayson County, but Meade County is going to be very good. Ohio County, Apollo, but a team that's not getting much respect is Edmonson County, because here's the thing about Edmonson County, man. They return a lot. They were in a tough district last year. They were in the 12th district, and, you know, Butler County was very talented. Grayson County was talented. And Edmonson County was talented. And Edmonson County got in a battle with Butler County. You know, if a few plays go a different way, Edmonson County wins that game. So, you know, they were 3 to 4 plays away from beating Butler County, led by Ty Price, Justin Caslin, and Briar Griffin. Obviously, Lawson Wright was out. You know, there were a few plays from beating that team. And, man, these guys were young. These guys were sophomores mainly. So, and there were some seniors that played too. But, you know, this year they return a lot of pieces. That's going to be big for them. They return Blaine DeWeese. They return, Aiden Meredith. They return Tyler Wilson. They return Braden Wright. So there's a lot of senior talent and junior talent that's going to be on this team. And, you know, Coach Brad Meredith last year had a really good year. But I think this year is going to be his year to kind of show who he is. You know, and I hate to say this is going to sound mean to some people. You know, when you have a lot of seniors, sometimes it's hard to play everybody, because you always got to play your seniors. It's senior year, man. Play these guys. Give them their love. It's their last year. But this year he's got a lot of young talent that he can play. He can move up. He can let them get their moments. And that's going to be big time. But he's also got a really good senior class. You know, he's got a very good senior class and junior class. So Coach has a lot of talent to work around with. The district has taken a little bit of a step back. You know, Butler County has to reload. Whitesville graduates multiple guys. So it's really going to come down to Edmonson County and Grayson County. And we've seen in past years Grayson be the heavy favorite, and Edmonson County kind of known to have younger guys playing, have 2 to 3 seniors that's good, and they go out and upset them. It happened 2 years ago. It very well could happen this year. You never know. So I'm excited to see how Edmonson County and Coach Brad Meredith have a year. Coach Brad's a good coach. You know, he's more of a quiet guy, but he really is a good coach. The guys respect him. They'll play hard for him. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Coach Randy Anderson. First time I think I've ever mentioned him on the show besides our Jacob Spurlock interview. Boyd County has a lot of talent. You know, Malachi Payne, Caleb Rimmer. There's a lot of talent there that's moved in. And they also return Youngstown State commit Jacob Spurlock, who's one of the most entertaining players in all of Kentucky high school basketball. basketball. He's going to go down as one of the top scorers ever. One of the top 3-point shooters ever. There's so much talent up there in Eastern Kentucky, Boyd. And, I mean, we've seen it in the 16th region with Ashland. Now I think Boyd's going to be the favorite. However, I don't want to say too much because Ashland's going to be really good. Ashland's going to be young. This might be the youngest team that coach has ever had out there in Ashland. But Boyd County and Ashland's going to battle it out again. I really do think so. But Boyd County's got a lot of talent, man. They've got a lot of talents. They got Caleb Rimmer coming in from Russell. They got Malachi Payne coming in from Huntington Prep. So they got a lot of talent, man. And Coach Randy Anderson is a good basketball coach. A lot of people would say if Jacob Spurlock doesn't get hurt last year in the region championship, they're at Rupp Arena, not Ashland, because they were playing really good. They looked good. And then Spurlock goes down with the ankle injury and the game's never the same. So there's a lot of talent, man, in that region, in the 16th region that I think go overlooked. We talked about a little bit how Eastern Kentucky goes underlooked at times. And he's going to be Coach Randy Anderson's got a team. I think it's his year to win the 16th, but, there's a lot of teams that's going to give him a battle for it. This stuff isn't easy, so I'm excited to see how Coach Randy Anderson and his team pans out. So far, we've talked about the new look Caverna Colonels roster, and we talked about standout coaches that I think are going to be great, and we talked about our great sponsors. But we got a lot of other things I want to talk about and cover today, including, man, Joe's got a lot of players that he thinks are going to be having breakout seasons, and here's a few of them, man. What I mean breakout seasons, obviously most improved, guys who's going to improve their numbers drastically, but guys who's going to take up bigger roles. And what I mean by that is James Clark was never the leader of Male, but now he's going to be. Now he's a senior. Now he's a starting senior guard who's going to have to lead these guys. And he's going to have to make a lot of noise. He's going to carry a lot of weight. And he's going to have to be there for his young team. And James Clark's one of those guys who have so much talent. Physically, James Clark has always been amazing. He's 6'3", 6'4", long, lengthy, crazy athlete. I would comfortably say it's going to be hard to find a better on-ball defender than James Clark around the state of Kentucky. And I don't think many would disagree with me. LJ Holman's a name that comes up there, obviously. But James Clark is a phenomenal defender, man. And he really had a big summer taking over the offensive load. They were without Jordan Mitchell and Cole Elam for a lot of games, so he stood out. I think at the Kentucky, at the KABC live period in Lexington, a lot of coaches walked away saying, James Clark, I had multiple Division I coaches ask me about him. So I'm just saying, man, this is a guy who is a very good basketball player, and now he's going to be able to play a lot more comfortable. He's going to be able to lead this team, and he's going to be able to open a lot of new windows of his game that people's not seen before. The 7th region, man, he's going to battle for 7th region player of the year. There's going to be a lot of favorites in the 7th region for player of the year. J.J. Washington, Jeremiah Jackson. We know it's going to be a senior award. That's how they do it. I don't do it that way, but, a lot of people, that's how it's going to probably be, a senior award. So James Clark's name's going to be in there. He's going to be competing for it. If James goes out and averages 15, 5, and 5 on good efficiency and 2 steals, wouldn't shock me at all. If his numbers are more like 16, 6, 3, and 2 steals, that wouldn't surprise me. Still both great stat lines. But James just got a lot of success, man. He's got a lot of talent, and I think he's going to be able to show it this year. Boogie Cook is absolutely amazing to watch. I think everybody who's ever seen Boogie Cook walks out of the gym surprised, like, wow. I mean, how good is this kid? He's a 2028. He's 6'7". He's a long wing. He's got a lot of guard skills, which is what makes Boogie very impressive. Boogie Cook and Jaden Johnson were sharing some photos of them going back and forth in game the other day, and Boogie just hits a step back, fade away, post shot, and the ball goes probably 10 feet in the air. He gets airtime like a Jamal Crawford shot, and his arms are good. I mean, this guy's standing reach is insane. Boogie, his what's the word I'm looking for? His measurements and his size is truly off the charts, and he's got so much potential and so much upside. He was offered by Indiana. He's starting your first ever offer off with a high major in Indiana. Man, it's crazy. So he's got so much potential. Everybody knows how much potential this guy has. Him at Christian Academy this summer was very impressive. He's going to have the opportunity to help lead that team alongside J.J. Washington, Miles Howard, and several other very good basketball players. And Coach Tim Riley, Hall of Fame Coach Tim Riley leaves OCATH to Coach Cal. He said Boogie Cook might be the most talented player I've ever coached, and he has a chance to be the best player I've ever coached. So I'm excited to see Boogie Cook's career, how it pans out, and just how good he's going to be this season. He was at the I forgot the name of it. I think it's VKTRY camp. I think it's a bit short, kind of abbreviated for Victory. The Victory Made Hoops camp in the eastern part of the U.S. I believe it was in Philadelphia, New York City area, with some of the top talent in the country. I'm talking Colin Hiller, Josh Lindsay, who we'll talk about. So many very talented players, the 28, 29, 27 class. And Boogie Cook was the first name on a lot of those lists. He was pictured. He was the top guy to a lot of people. He had a very, very good summer with Indiana Elite. So this is a guy whose numbers is going to jump off the board. Boogie averaging 16 and 10 a game this year wouldn't surprise me. He's going to get his blocks. But dude, he's so fun to watch, man, is what I'm trying to say. Go watch a Christian Academy Louisville game this year, because the way he moves, the talent he has, the swagger he plays with, it's very fun to watch. And I'm excited to see how Christian Academy ends up. That's a really tough 7th region. There's so much talent, but I think you put a Hall of Fame coach with one of the most talented players in Kentucky, one of the best scorers in J.J. Washington, and other up-and-coming guard Miles Howard. It's hard not to envision success with what's there. So I'm excited to see Boogie and Cal this year. Another guy I'm excited to see is Matthew Lange. Matthew Lange in that 2027 class is not just being underrated by the media, but by college coaches. He has no Division I offers right now, which is insane. But, he's a top 10 player in the 27 class, which has a lot of talent. He's a very, very, very electric scorer. His dad was Dan Lange. He played at Vanderbilt, played in the NBA. So he's got the roots. This guy, he doesn't come from nothing. He's got a family history in basketball that's very rich. But he played for a Marshall County team last year that was, I believe, 25-0 at one point. So he's around Coach Donahue. He's around a lot of success. He's in Marshall County, which eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball. I don't know if you've ever seen that gym. There's a reason we had the Marshall County Hoop Fest. Had guys like Kevin Durant play there before. Marshall County's got so much talent, man, and they lost a lot of seniors. So I'm saying, look, he was already the leading scorer. He was already the top player on a senior-oriented team as a sophomore. Who says this guy can't go out and average 25-plus points a game this year? He's going to be the first region player of the year. There's other guys who's going to compete and fight for it, but he's going to be the first region player of the year unless he gets hurt, in my opinion. So Matthew Lange is going to be a name that it's time to give this guy his flowers and his respect. I was talking to one of my close friends the other day who's another, I'm not going to say his name, another top 27 in the state. And he said, dude, if there's one guy who's ever killed me before, it's Matthew Lange, because he's so hard to guard because he's 6'6". He's got probably a 6'11" reach. He just gets shots off. He hits some tough shots. He's a talented scorer. He's a very underrated athlete. He's actually coming off one of the bigger summers with Team Mookie Betts, where they won EYCL, got him a spot in the play-in in the E16 at Peach Jam, and he made a lot of noise there. And let's not forget, they actually dropped a list. Synergy dropped this. The best go-to for stats in the country. Matthew Lange was the 3rd most efficient player in all of high school basketball last year, above a guy like A.J. Debansa. Now, A.J. Debansa is one of a kind, man. We might never see a talent like him again. But, that just shows that he is making lists with these names already. I mean, don't show me no more. I've seen him play. Matthew Lange is going to have a phenomenal season, and I'm really excited to see what he does. Offers are going to come in for him. He's finally going to get that respect, and people's going to be looking back like, Joe did say he was going to have a breakout year. So I'm just warning you beforehand what's going to happen, because I know it's going to happen. Dramel Caruthers, he's a high major football quarterback for Owensboro Catholic. He probably doesn't even want me putting him on this list. He's probably like, man, I'm tired of hearing about basketball. I'm a football player, but Dramel Caruthers at Owensboro Catholic is going to be a stud this year. He's coming off a very good region tournament last year. He had a big game against Grayson County where at times he looked like the best player on the floor. He really did. I said he's the ultimate Swiss Army knife. He's a 27. 10, 5, and 5 for him a night is not anything unnormal. That's the player he is. He's going to fill the stat sheet. He's going to guard your best player. And he's not a bad athlete either. So he's a very good all-around player. He actually had a really good All-A last year at Owensboro Catholic when they played it at the Sports Center. He had a very good All-A against some very good competition and talent. So he actually did it against Brock Kaufman at Sayre. He had a big game. Big shout out to Brock Kaufman playing at the next level. He was great. So you're looking at a guy like Dramel Caruthers, who's always performs against top talent. Had a good summer and spring with Moss Elite, but he's a dual sport athlete. I say it all the time. You're not going to find a guy who works harder than a dual sport athlete, man, because they've managed to be great at 2 sports and they work so hard, man. They have the infinite hustle. It's like they take a pill every game that just makes them the best hustlers and the hardest workers on the floor. And that's what makes Dramel so special, man, is that he's going to play 32 minutes. He's going to play all 32 minutes of the game. He's not going to want to sit down at halftime. He's going to be ready to get back out there, and he's going to play hard the whole time. Like I said, he's coming off a very, very, very big season with Moss Elite. He had a good year last year for Owensboro Catholic, where he was beside D1 signee to Eastern Illinois. Luke Beigman. So it's not like he's not played with talent. He's put up numbers playing with other talented players. So I'm excited to see the season that he has. He's got so much potential. So does Brandon Heath. Brandon Heath breaks his leg last fall at a jamboree in November at Butler in front of all the Butler fans, and it was heartbreaking, man. It was truly one of the saddest things I've seen at a high school basketball game. He comes back this summer with Kentucky Ambition. He's putting up 20 and 10 performances. He's cooking at the KABC live period. He's one of the best true point guards in the state of Kentucky. He plays the right way. He's a great player. I think his recruitment's really going to take some hits this year. I think he's going to get looked at by a lot of NAIs, D3s, D2s, JUCOs, and get some love and respect because of just how he plays the game. I think last year, I said it, me and Coach Otis talked on here a lot. I think he's going to be one of the best point guards in the state is what I said last year. He goes down, and so I have no doubt he's going to be this year. It doesn't look like it took a big hit on his athleticism, his movement, how he plays. He still looks comfortable. He's going to be around that Butler team that has a lot of talent, Adrian Wilder, Santana Anderson, multiple other names that I'm not talking about. They have a very good young class as well. Henrich, there's so much talent there at Butler in the 6th region. They look like the favorite to win the 6th region, and a big reason they are is because they're led by a point guard like Brandon Heath. So I'm excited to see Brandon Heath. I think he's a phenomenal basketball player. Don't have a lot to talk about because he was out last year, but we've all seen the tape. We've all seen how he's played. He's a true point guard. He's going to pick apart your defense. He loves to pick and roll. He loves to run a set. He's very good in the half court. He's also good in transition, but he can score the ball too. So Brandon Heath's going to go out here this year. He's going to average 14 points, probably 6 assists, multiple rebounds. He's going to be efficient, and we're going to have a lot of people saying, it's hard to find a better point guard than that guy out there. He could very well average more than that, but he's going to be a breakout player that you got to see this year. So is Colton Wuttrell. Colton Wuttrell is by far a top 3 shooter in the state of Kentucky. You want to argue? He broke the most 3 points made in a game record last year at the state tournament. He had 10. I think he might have ended up with 11. I know for sure he had 10. When they pulled off the upset against J-Town, South Oldham doesn't make that Final Four run if it's not without Colton. They win 76-75 against a very loaded J-Town team, and Colton Wuttrell says, hey, man, I'm going to turn it up a notch. I'm going to turn into Klay Thompson, and I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to have 34 points on 10 three-pointers made. So you're not going to find a better shooter, but this summer, and with South Oldham, another guy beside him is Joakim Siakam, who's going to be phenomenal. Pascal Siakam's nephew. South Oldham's a very underrated team. Colton is a lot more than just a shooter. He can put it on the floor. He can play make. He's a leader. He's a senior. And, I know Coach loves coaching him, man, because he's a very good player. And, South Oldham got a taste of that deep run last year. And I think they've seen that they're one of the favorites in the 8th region. So they're ready to kill. They're ready to get back to Rupp. You get that taste. People say the Rupp ice cream's great, but you get that taste at the high school level of playing at Rupp Arena. You want to go back. You want to make the state tournament again. So I think South Oldham's going to be great, and they're going to be led by Colton Wuttrell. And I'm super excited to see him play. Has gotten offers from Brescia recently, which is big time. I'm very good. Coach Carnes seen him and just how good he was. And was like, man, we can get that over here quick. And we can turn him into more than just a shooter. So I'm a big fan of Colton. He's a very good talent. I'm excited to see how things play out for him. Omari Joyner, just like Brandon Heath. We knew how good Omari Joyner was. We knew how good of a point guard he was. We knew how he stacked up as a player. We knew the talent he was. But here's the thing. He didn't play last season. So we didn't have a lot to judge him off of. Well, here's the thing. Now he's back. He's coming off a very big summer with Kentucky Basketball Club on the 16U circuit. He's a very, very good I was about to say Fortnite. He's a very good football player, too. He's a great receiver. He led Woodford County in touchdowns last year. He comes from a great family. His dad, Butch, played at WKU. His sister is this guy at Johnson. So this guy eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball. As much as he loves football, he has to know the basketball career he's going to have. And he's a Division I guard who's having a very, very, very good summer. He's had some very, very good moments this year, and it wouldn't be possible without Coach Jerron Brown and the opportunities he gives them. And that's what I love about Coach Jerron Brown, man. We've seen it with Jasper Johnson. We've seen it with Armello Boone. He lets his top players play. He lets them get comfortable. He lets them lead his teams. That's why I think Omari Joyner is going to be so good this year. Omari Joyner will average over 18 points a game this season, maybe more. He's going to get some box and one look. Some guys are going to focus on him, but he's such a crafty defender. He gets to the free throw line, so well. He shoots the ball so well. He's going to have a breakout year. And you can go ahead and guarantee he's going to have a breakout year because he didn't play last year. He came into a game and broke his leg, which was another sad sight to see at KLB. So Omari Joyner is going to have a great year. I think he's going to remind a lot of people just how good he is. And We've seen so much action. We've seen so many guys transfer and move out of the 27 class. It's time for people to realize just how good this guy is. Just because he's going to jump in rankings because other names are going to be taken out doesn't mean he wasn't ever that good. Doesn't mean he wasn't ever in those conversations. So Amari Joyner is going to be a breakout guy this year. I'm excited to see how he plays. James Clark, Boogie Cook, Matthew Lange, Jamel Caruthers, Brandon Heath, Colton Wetcherl, and Amari Joyner. There's so many other names that can make this list. It was hard. And there's other names that would make this list. There's other guys we're talking about. We're going to have podcast episodes before the season where we're talking about this exact same topic with a different color and a different logo there. So don't worry, there's going to be other names, but these are some top guys I wanted to talk about who had huge summers and who's on the verge of breakout seasons. And I'm excited to see all these guys play, man. I think a lot of people's going to be proven this year. Transition, man. This is probably going to be the longest part of the show because there's probably 100 names to talk about, but the most impactful transfers in high school basketball. There's 8 names below, but I have a notes list of over 30. So I want to talk about all these transfers, a lot of the top transfers that's went down because there's so many moves. There's so many things that's changed. There's so many new faces at these high schools that not just a lot of people don't know about them, but shoot, I mean, it's not that people don't know about these guys and they don't know that they've moved. It's that there's a lot of hidden ones that a lot of people don't know about and that they're ready to see. So let's start out by talking about our first name here below. I'm getting my notes app pulled up, man. I'm ready to talk about this whole list. But let's start off with the very first name, Davier White. He's undecided right now. He was supposed to be at Caverna, so he's undecided. We're going to know very soon where he'll be playing this season. But Davier White's going to be leaving Taylor County, and you're going to be getting a very, very polished scoring talent who's got a lot more potential to grow even more, a big physical positional guard that's just a very, very good basketball player. He had huge moments against top teams last year. He had huge moments against some of the best talent in the state last year. So we know how good of a player he is. Now we just got to see what team he ends up at and how good he is and what he brings to that team. So we're not going to talk about Davier too much, but we know that he's going to be on the move, and we're just waiting to see what happens. Braxton Keithley, Kentucky's leading scorer, averaged 34.3 points a game, holds 6 Division I offers, was great with Tennessee Impact this summer, is at Martin County now. And here's the thing about Martin County, man. I don't know if you watched a lot of their games last year, but their number one guy last year was Parker Watts. And it was hard to find a more fun, entertaining player to watch in the state than Parker Watts. So Braxton's got some big shoes to fill, man. But if there was somebody in Eastern Kentucky that you knew could step in and fill those shoes, it's Braxton Keithley. He's joining a team that lost a lot. There was a lot of seniors on last year's team. So it's going to be a newer look, but they got a lot of freshmen. They got a lot of juniors from last year. They got a team that's going to have a lot of guys move up and that's going to have the chance to play at a higher level. They're going to have a chance to show their full game. And they're going to be joining one of the top point guards in the state in Braxton Keithley, who's going to be able to facilitate for those guys, but's also going to have a chance to lead the state in scoring again. I think Braxton's going to have a huge year again, man. Last year wasn't just a fluke. Him averaging 30-plus points a game this year is not going to be a surprise to me because the way Braxton can fill it up, he's a great shooter, but he gets to the rim. He's got a knack for drawing contact. He's an all-around very great player. You don't just talk about these things about every other player. He's got 6 Division I offers, the most in the 27 class for a reason. Braxton is going to have a chance to win the region player, the 15th region player of the year again. He was my 15th region player of the year. He's got a very good chance to win it again this year. And he's a super special player, man. He's a special person. And here's the thing. Those guys playing around Braxton Keithley, their energy and their motives and everything's just going to jump because the dude's a gym rat. He lives in the gym and he wants to win. And he wants to make it to Rupp, as a junior. So you're going to see everybody around him playing better. You're going to see everybody around him stepping up their game. So that's what makes it so special. Jordan Jackson leaves Holy Cross to go to St. X. Jordan Jackson, we talked about Parker Watts being a fun player to watch. Jordan Jackson is a freak of nature. I don't know Jordan's vertical. I don't know how long his arms are, but I would say he's a legit 6'7". He's probably got 7-foot arms. And dude, this guy dunks for a living. He's a highlight play waiting to happen. I believe Synergy dropped numbers for the guys in the Adidas circuit who had the most dunks in game. He was top 10. He was great for Team Loaded South. But one thing about Jordan is he's not just a freak athlete. He's not just a phenomenal dunker. He's not just a guy who can make a highlight play. He's a very good basketball player. He's becoming a lot more confident with his shot. He really, really has improved with his handle. He gets downhill. He gets to the rim a lot better than he had in previous years, and he does it a lot better than others in that 28 class. And that 28 class is phenomenal, man. So Jordan Jackson's going to make an instant impact on an already very talented St. X team. St. X isn't just looking to win the 7th region. They're looking to win the state tournament. He's going to be paired beside Josh Lindsay, Bryce Johnson, Jeremiah Jackson, Chief Cameron. So much talent at St. X. They're going to have to beat themselves because they got so much talent. They're going to be the favorites. So I'm excited to see how they pan out. They added the absolute super defender in Jordan Jackson and a great athlete. It's hard to imagine a world where there's no success in St. X, and Jordan Jackson is going to make up for a lot of that. Ryder Atkins is, to me, the most underrated player in the state of Kentucky because he's in that 2028 class. It's super loaded, and he went out and he proved last year he was a phenomenal player. He proved he led Corbin in scoring and rebounding. I believe he averaged 18 and 7. Then he says, okay, well, let me go prove myself in AAU season. He has a phenomenal AAU season with Tennessee Impact and Team Loaded South on the Adidas circuit. He's like, okay, well, I'm still not getting my respect. Let's go play in front of Joe in Georgia at a Made Hoops event. He plays against Boo Williams, drops 36 and 5, and he's still not getting love, man. He's still not getting attention from people. He had a very good season at Corbin. And I'll be honest with you, I talked to a lot of people in that region, in the 13th region. Dude, when they heard Corbin lost Ryder Atkins, a lot of them slapped a pound of sweat off their forehead. They were worried to play this guy because the control Ryder Atkins has over a game. He's not just a scoring guard. He's a true point guard. He's a guy who can pick the defense apart. He can be athletic when he wants to and take you to the cup. He loves playing around the mid-range. And here's the thing, dude. I've not seen somebody who can facilitate as quick and get passes out as fast as him and get the ball to a spot as quick as Ryder Atkins. He's actually extremely fun to watch, but he's a great athlete. He's a very good defender. He's got a big body. He's very developed for 2028. And, sometimes that can be nervous. You can be like, is he going to get any better? Is he going to plateau? But, he's got a very good work ethic. He loves to be in the gym. So I think a lot of success for Ryder Atkins is in the future. And I'm a big fan of Ryder Atkins. He's going to be at George Rogers Clark this year. He's going to GRC to play alongside another very good guard in Malachi Ashford. He's going to be beside Montez Gay and Maury Bartleson. So there's a lot of talent up there in Winchester. He's going to fit right in, dude. He's going to fit right in. And it's going to be hard to beat them. The 10th region is talented, but I think you could ask everybody, and they're going to say GRC's the favorite. And, adding Ryder Atkins was just the cherry on top. So I'm excited to see Ryder and how he plays. Gavin Lightning, we talked about him earlier in the show. He's coming back from Florida from prep school. He's going to be at Caverna. His first day was today. He's going to be a lot of people's preseason 5th region player of the year. And he's going to fill it up. He plays fundamentally. He plays the right way. He's a great leader, and he's going to get his opportunities not just to kill as a scorer, but to get his guys involved and to play his brand of basketball. He's not going to blow you away athletically, but he's going to blow you away fundamentally. I always said it. I told Gavin, I was like, if Tim Duncan was 6'6", he'd be Gavin Lightning. So Gavin's a very fun player to watch. He's a very good basketball talent. He's got a very bright future. He's not just going to help lead Caverna, but he's going to completely change their team. He's got these guys wanting to stay. He's got these guys wanting to play hard. And that's exactly what Coach Josh Pittman needs. And I know Josh Pittman's already a huge fan of Gavin Lightning. Damian Jung is a guy who comes from Houston. He played for Houston Hoops. He's from Houston, Texas, military family. He's going to be playing for first-year season at Louisville Eastern, Coach Jeff Morrow. So he's going to be in a new environment with a new head coach who's ready to win quick. Damian Jung's long. He's probably 6'8". He's a long, big man. He's got athleticism to him. He's got a comfortable left hand. He's comfortable putting his back to the basket. He's an all-around really good basketball player. And when you're in Kentucky and you got size like that, you got a chance to kill. So I'm excited to see Damian Jung and how he plays. That 7th region, we've talked about it 100 times on how talented it is. So he's going to have a chance to kill. He's going to have a chance to put up big numbers. I think he's going to be one of the best shot blockers in the state, but I think he's going to be very, very eye-opening for just how good a brand of basketball he plays. He plays the right way. He was impressive both times I've seen him this summer. So I'm excited to see what him and Coach Morrow can accomplish at Eastern. And he's got a lot of talent and upside. So I'm excited to see. He recently received a Division I offer from Portland State in Tennessee. So he's being noticed by coaches all around the country. So that's very good for Damian Jung. He's a guy that you don't have a lot to say about right now, but probably by the end of the month season, you're kind of be like, okay, Here's how good Damian Young is. Where does he stack up against other players? How good is this guy? So I'm excited for Damian Young and how his season ends up because he's a very, very good basketball player. The cover guy, Miles Woodfork, great left-handed point guard. He's coming off some small injuries to his foot. He should be back and ready to go by season. He will be back and ready to go by season. A lot of people know Miles Woodfork from being at Paducah Tillman. He was very good at Paducah Tillman. There were some changes there on the staff that I think upset him a little bit, so he decided to leave. He's going to McCracken County. That's got Jackson Club, Aaron Adams, Anderson J. Martin, a lot of talent over there at McCracken County. And, they've got a chance to win the region. They've got a chance to go out there and win it. And, a lot of it's going to be decided on how he plays. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. I think he's going to be great because just his control over the game. Miles Woodfork is very good at getting to the rim, attacking the hole, and making things happen. But he's also a very good playmaker. And I seen him play at Central Hardin Shootout. And his control over the game, like I said, was great. He knew what he was doing. He's kind of like he's the keys to the car, man. That team is going to run and they're going to play as good as he plays. And I think he knows that. And I think he's bound for a big year, man. So there's some other names as well. Grayson Burton. We talk about these top 3, top 5 shooters, man. You can't have that debate without Grayson Burton. Played for Mocan this summer on the EYBL circuit. He was with Knox Central last year. He led them in all their stats. He's a phenomenal basketball player. He's got a good coach. He's got a good family history. His dad coached at Union for a very long, long time. And he decides, I'm going to go play at Madison Central. I'm going to play alongside Jake Feldhouse, who's one of the best players in Kentucky, committed to Belmont. I'm going to play for Coach Feldhouse. I'm going to play around their good 2026 class, and I'm going to get better every day. I'm going to play in a tough 11th region, and I'm going to stand out and get my name out there. And that's exactly what Grayson Burton's going to do this year. He's not just a shooter. He's got a lot of other things to his game. He's got a skilled game, but he's going to go out there and he's going to hit 4 to 5 threes a game. You just got to accept it. So I'm excited to see Grayson Burton and how his year pans out. There is a lot of transfers, and I want to give them all some love, and I want to talk about them all. Not everybody's going to get talked about for a minute or two, but there's some names I want to bring up and I want to talk about. Let's talk about this crazy transfer portal that's happened in Kentucky this year. Next name up is Bray McNair at Scott County. We've done talked about him. Very long, skilled forward who is exactly what Sean Woods needs to have there develop. In 2 years, we could be looking at one of the top players of the state. He's already one of the top names in his class, so I'm excited to see Bray McNair where he ends up. Colton Helton announced he'll be at Henry Clay. Colton Helton is kind of a Swiss Army knife guard. He guards, he rebounds, he assists, he scores. He's going to be joining Jackson Steffen and multiple other talented players at Henry Clay, who was a sleeper team in the 11th region last year. When Frederick Douglass looked their best, they got upset by Henry Clay, and Henry Clay went on to make some moves in the district and region. So, they're a team that's going to have a lot of chances to make noise this year. I think Henry Clay's underrated. They're well coached, and you add a guy like Colton Helton to that list. It's just another score. It's just another guy who can break open the game and kill. So I'm excited to see that. Jagger Mars is at Grayson County, man. He's a high volume scorer. He shoots it well. He scores the ball. Exactly something that Grayson County needed to help take some of the pressure off Armstrong Langdon and Jack Loxton. He was a phenomenal player last year at LaRue County. He just moves the county over to Grayson. Grayson County fans are going to love him. Caleb Prince at Warren Central, we've talked about it a lot. He's a great through traffic guard. He's a great playmaker. Coach Unseld loves having a good point guard, and here's Caleb Prince, man. He's going to be very, very good for them. He's a name you got to watch. He's a name that's going to be very, very, very high up there in the 4th Region Player of the Year talks. He already was at Warren East. Now he just goes to a better situation with a better coach. Recently received his first offer from Berea. Caleb Prince is about to shock a lot of people, man. And another very good point guard is Cooper Stone. Leaves Greene County to go to Taylor County. He's in a good situation with a good coach in Josh Case. A lot of talent around him. They play a very talented brand of basketball, and that's exactly what you need at Taylor County. You need a point guard who can play on both ends of the floor and can lead these guys at a young age. That's exactly what he's going to do. By the way, I want to say there's some names. There's people who's transferred around the state that might not be on this list. There's been so many moves that it's kind of gotten hard to keep up with it at times. But I want to talk about a lot of the top guys, some of the top names, and people that deserve some respect and love. Michael Acton is the definition of I'm going to hit a mid-range or a 3 in your face, and you're going to hear about it all the way down the floor. And then I'm going to guard you the rest of the game 94 feet. Michael Acton has been great at Owensboro these past 2 years. Now he's going to, county rival Davis County to play with Jonathan Moss, De'Aaron Watkins. We talked to Michael Acton before. He's a very good basketball player. Very good. A lot of coaches are excited to see how he develops, how he continues to get. He's on a lot of coaches' radar because he's such a good basketball player. There's a lot of people that don't guard like Michael Acton, and there's a reason that he's going to be recruited so highly. There's a reason that he's got this respect because he guards so well, but he scores so well. He's coming off a great season with Moss Elite this summer. Here's the thing. Davis County's not – they're going to be a great team this year because they got Jonathan Moss, they got De'Aaron Watkins, but they wouldn't be what they are if it wasn't for Michael Acton, and you're going to see that a lot this season at times. Guy Turner, he's kind of bounced around a little bit. We didn't know where Guy Turner was going to be this year. He's a phenomenal quarterback, but he's also a very good basketball player. He's going to be at Paris in the 10th region. He had a good year last year for Cal, originally at Boyle County, so – I'm excited to see how things go for him at Paris. Kyle Mahorn at Montgomery County, that 2028 class is very good, and there's a lot of guard talent. But a guy that often goes underlooked is, the legendary Rick Mahorn's nephew, Kyle Mahorn. Kyle Mahorn just tore his ACL not too long ago, so I'm devastated. He's not going to play this season. But here's the thing. He's going to be a big energy guy off the bench. He's going to be getting his body ready. And next year, when we talk about this, Kyle Mahorn's going to be one of the best guards, or one of the best point guards is going to be talked about in the state. So get ready. He was great at Woodford County last year. Now Coach Jason Mays has him at Montgomery County. He's going to be phenomenal. Another 2028 in that 10th. Down in that region over there in Eastern Kentucky. Connor Morgeson. Connor Morgeson's at Powell County. He left GRC to go to Powell County, where he's originally from. And Connor Morgeson is one of the most talented offensive guards you will see. He has a bag deeper than, is it Mary Poppins who had the super deep bag? I think it is. So he's got a crazy deep bag. He's got so many moves. He's got so many offensive skills. But he's always been behind a lot of guys. He's never really got the shot counted he won. He never wanted that. He never really got that opportunity to kill and show just how good he is. He did it with Bates Fundamental this summer. He was like, man, I'm killing out here. So he's going to have a new look. He's going to have a lot of opportunities. Powell County is going to be a good basketball club, and they're going to be a team that you got to see, and I'm excited to see how he pans out for them. Emmanuel Suarez is from Puerto Rico. He's in Ohio County now. He's a big 6'3" guard who's got a lot of potential. A lot of people think he's going to be very good, or a lot of people think he's going to bust, but Emmanuel's a good basketball talent. He's a very good player. He plays the right way, and I think he's really going to glue this Ohio County team together and get them to where they want to go. I think, like I said earlier, they're a top 5 team in the region probably. That's a list you got to put on paper, but I would say they're a top 5 to 6, 6, 7 team in the region, in the 3rd region. So, and he makes that a lot of that possible. He's very good for him this summer. Coach Briggs loves him, dude. Coach Briggs loves him. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Lamonte Radcliffe is at Davis County. Darren Randolph is at Grayson County. Darren Randolph leaves Owensboro Catholic. Great shooter. Slashes and gets to the rim well. He's going to be that knockdown guy for Moss whenever he needs a big shot. But Lamonte Radcliffe is one of the best defenders in the state of Kentucky. He's obviously was out all last year where he broke his leg, had a leg injury. He's one of the best defenders in Kentucky, and don't let his 5'7" small frame despise you. He's quick. He guards. He scores. And he plays the right way. And he's going to be able to very, very, very well complement Michael Acton and Jonathan Moss in that backcourt. I'm super excited to see how he goes. Jonah Massey leaves Edmonson County to go to Grayson County. He's an offensive talent in the 28 class. Still got some holes in his game. He's still got some spots he's going to work on, but he loves being in the gym. He's a hard worker, and now he's going to be a part of that very talented Grayson County 28 class with names like Jackson Davis, with names like Camden Sanders. So he's got a very good chance to be the point guard of the future for Grayson County. Grayson County's had a lot of good point guards in the past, including their very own Travis Johnson, head coach. So it's a good spot for Jonah. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity. He's on a very, very good roster. So he's going to get pushed in practice every day. He's going to get better, and I like that a lot for him. Landon Blakey leaves LaRue County to go to Adair County. He's a big guy, 6'7", 6'8". He plays high above the rim. He does some dunks that he should not do for his size. He's comfortable with his back to the post. He finishes with both hands, and he steps out and shoots the 3 well. He's a very good basketball player, and Jordan Branger's got a stud with him. And the thing about Jordan Brangers is he's a phenomenal basketball talent. So he's out there playing against him every day in practice. So Landon Blakey's got a chance to be really good. There's some out-of-state transfers I want to talk about. Jaden Johnson's going to Wasatch Academy in Utah. Cole Edlin's going to Combine Academy in North Carolina. Sam Spillman's going to North Carolina to play. He left GRC. He's reclassing back to be a 27, and he's going to be playing in North Carolina. And Philandus Wright has decided to go to La Lumiere. So that's a lot of names, man. One that I didn't say is Braden Myrick to Covington Catholic because we talked about him a lot last episode. with Coach Thielen. Very good offensive talent, very good all-around basketball player. He's going to help put Covington Catholic over that next level, win the 9th region. He's going to be beside Zathan McGillis, Donovan Bradshaw, Cash Harney. So I'm excited to see Covington Catholic, man. They're going to be talented, and he makes that list possible. Show's over an hour, guys. I know you guys are tired of hearing me talking. Let's talk about our next topic, the 2028 class. Let's get it across, dude. The 2028 class in Kentucky has a chance to be the best class Kentucky's ever seen. I'll stand on that hill, man. Because here's the thing. You got so many high major offers being already handed out to these guys saying, hey, these guys can be damn good. These guys can be very good basketball players. They got so much potential, but they're killing it at a young age. Josh Lindsey is not just a dunker. He's not just a guy you're going to see on clips, but he's a very excellent basketball player. He's a very good shooter. He's got a super tight handle. He plays so well above the rim. His IQ is growing. You can't teach his athleticism, and now he's adding all this skill around it. He's a very good shooter. And he's just big, dude. So he's a good defender. St. X has a gym there, man. And Josh Lindsey. And, his success is going to be crazy. I think he's going to grow a little more, which is insane. To see him get even bigger. He's the high school Westbrook. He is the country. He's the national-wide Kentucky, not just Kentucky, nationally, Russell Westbrook. And he's so entertaining to watch, dude. But he's such a good basketball player, man, because when you watch him, not just as a dunker, not just as a highlight film, you see this guy shoots it well. This guy can play off the ball. This dude he puts his body in you when he guards you. He's a very good basketball player. I'm excited to see him. Trey Hillerich is like a deer when he plays. And what I mean is this guy will go from the 3-point line on the other end to the other 3-point line 2 steps. It's crazy. He's legit 6'9". He's huge. He's got long arms. He's got a big wingspan. But here's the thing. He's so talented. He steps out. He shoots the 3. Okay. He alters everything on defense. Okay. He covers ground. Okay. He guards the perimeter. Okay. He scores with both hands. He's comfortable with the post hook. He's got post moves. He's got advanced moves. He gets to the line. He shoots it well. Okay. He's got all the tools early, and he's got so much talent. I don't think he's done growing. I think he's going to continue to grow. And I'm a firm believer he's just going to continue to polish off and improve at these things that he's already got his skills. Louisville Male is good, but a reason that they're great is because of Trey Hillerich. So I'm really excited to see how his season pans out. He's a phenomenal basketball talent, dude. He's phenomenal, man. Coach Hayworth is a stud. I can tell by talking to Coach Hayworth, he's going to be by far one of the most favorite players he's ever coached. And he's coached so many Division I talents. So that says something. We talked about Boogie. Boogie's so fun to watch. He's got so much upside. Him and Tim Riley's going to have a lot of fun at Christian Academy this year. Jordan Jackson, we've talked about Jordan on today's show. Athletic freak, amazing defender. He's got a hard work ethic, so he lives in the gym. He's improving his shot. And the thing is that this dude is a 6'7" big forward who's pushing it down the floor and just killing guys, getting to the rim, dunking on his teammates in practice. No remorse. Jordan's a great player. He's a great player, dude. And I'm super excited to see how he pans out. He's got so much success. So much success. He's got so much success already. He's going to have such a chance to be good. I love watching Jordan Jackson play. Jordan Mitchell's starting to come over. Jordan Mitchell's starting to become extremely underrated because all these guys are getting talked about and they deserve it. But Jordan Mitchell's kind of starting to get a little disrespected in some conversations, dude. He's coming off a huge summer with Bradley Bill Elite, where he averaged double digits, had multiple big games, stood out in front of a lot of coaches. He's been playing in all-star games. He's been going to strong camps. He's been playing against older competition. He's been playing in, like I said, all-star games and camps. He's a standout every time. He's putting up big numbers. He's killing. He played in Ohio and scored over 47 points in a 17U all-star game against multiple other national names. Jordan Mitchell's a stud, dude. He's a very good basketball player. He's polished early. He's got a lot of talents early, which sometimes worry people, how much better is he going to get? But Coach Hayworth is a very good basketball coach. He's good with guards. He's going to push Jordan. Jordan's going to gain a lot more IQ, a lot more leadership skills. He's going to be a team leader. He's going to improve on the defensive end. He's got so much potential to be great, man. And I'm excited to see how Jordan pans out, because his career has a chance to be very successful, dude. He's going to make a lot of money. He's going to have a lot of looks. He's going to make a lot of coaches look very smart. I'm excited to see how that happens. We talked about Ryder Atkins at GRC. He's phenomenal. Austin Sears is a very, very phenomenal offensive talent. He has an ability to do a little bit of everything on offense. He's so good in the pick and roll. He's a very good playmaker. He shoots it so well. He grew up in the gym with Ty Price, who's going to UT Martin. We've seen how good he was. So he's got so much talent. He's a hard worker. He lives in the gym. His dad, Tony, and them, they live in the gym. I've witnessed it firsthand. But the thing that impressed me about Austin is we've seen the clips of him step back 3, combo guard. He's a combo guard. He's just a scorer. Guard him. Then I see him play in the pick and roll. Then I see him get doubled. Then I see him have to pick apart a 2-3 zone. Then I see him have to put the ball in his left hand and create. I've seen him have to adjust to all these defenses. I've seen him have to slow his game down and play the point guard and leading the half court. He's a point guard, dude, and he's a dang good point guard, and he is a lot more than just a scorer. Austin Sears has 3 Division I offers for a reason. He went to EKU. He killed it. He came home with an offer from A.W. Hamilton, who knows guard talent. Austin Sears is a very, very good player, dude. He's young. He's tall. He's about 6 foot to 6'1". He's got a chance to be really good, dude. He's got a long build. Like, he's got long arms. He can keep growing. I really like Austin Sears, man. And there's a reason North Oldham is one of the top teams in the state. And there's a reason they're going to be the favorite in the 8th to go to Rupp. And it's because of his play, dude. He's a phenomenal player, man. And so is Andrew Terry and Barron Clay. Barron Clay is a lights out shooter, a big physical guard who puts it on the floor. He's a very good dual sport athlete, very good tennis player. I asked him the other day, I said, where do you rank in the state for tennis? And he said, I'm not top 100, but I'm top 50. And I love that answer, man, because he's very hard worker, but he's not very arrogant. He's not very cocky. He knows he's got room to work. He likes to work. He plays very good in a 5v5 play. And he was very good this summer with Ballard. They had a big time game. They actually started off the KABC live period with Ballard versus North Laurel. A lot of young guys on the floor. Corey Cunningham, Mason Grivna, Cam Thompson, Barron Clay. There was so much young talent on the floor, and that's actually pretty cool to see, man. And Barron was very good. He scored the ball well. He got to the rim. He's got a very comfortable drop step. You know, when he gets down, spins around, scores. He's got so many good talented things to his game. And he's a guy who's going to have a lot of potential to be great. He's got a chance to be one of those next Ballard legends, one of those guys who's very good at high school and stamp their name in Ballard history because he's going to score a lot. And he's going to help them win a lot. They've got so much talent, dude. And I'm excited to see how it pans out. I love Andrew Terry, man, because he's huge. He's 6'8". He's a big physical forward who shoots it really well. He puts it on the floor. That's the thing, dude. If you're a big guy who can handle it and shoot the three, you're automatically loved by me. I automatically love your game. So you're automatically going to get my respect, but he does it at a high rate. He does it against good competition. Came home with an EKU offer in front of A.W. Hamilton. So that shows something, man. He's got a lot of potential. You know, I think his best basketball is still ahead of him. So I'm excited to see how he plays. With Kyle Mahorn going down for Montgomery County, there's so much pressure on Andrew Terry and Tyce Jarvis to live up to. I think they're going to have really good season, man. And I'm excited to see what Andrew Terry does. Jason Mays talks to the world about him. He loves him. And Coach Mays, he knows talent, man. So I'm really excited to see Andrew Terry. But this 28 class, man, has potential to be really good. There's a lot of other names I didn't mention, you know, Preston Wheatley, Cooper Stone, Bryce Vernon. There's so many other names in this 28 class that's shown how good they are. Joakim Siakam is another name, holds an offer from James Madison. Austin Davey, Brady Orem, Everett Stewart. Yeah, there's a lot of talent here. Tyson Duke, Aaron Adams. There's so much talent in this class. Bray McNair, Nick Curry-Hill. You know, this class legitimately goes 100 deep, and the top 30 to 35 is phenomenal offensive talents, and I mean phenomenal basketball talents, and then the top 5 looks like they all have a chance to be high major talents. So it's something that Kentucky's really never seen before with the chance that this class has. And obviously all these Kentucky high school coaches love to have them. They're fun to cover. They're fun to see how good they're going to be. You know, they're going to be sophomores this year, man. So it's crazy to see just how good these guys are. The future is so bright in Kentucky, and I wanted to talk about this today because a lot of people's down, a lot of people's upset the KHSA is losing all this talent, but they forget just how good the talent is, man. And these 28s that right here in front of you are going to have huge responsibilities. They got to lead their team this year, man. They got to be one of the number one options. They got to kill, and they're coming off big summers. Every single one of these guys right here had huge summers. So they're going to have a lot of momentum going into the year, and they're going to be ready to shock a lot of people, and they're going to be able to make a lot of noise. They're representing a very good class. It's getting talked about every day, and I know they all live up to the motto of how good their class is. They all stand by it. You know, they all understand the expectations. So I'm a big fan of this group. I think it's I really do think it has a chance to be the best class Kentucky's ever had, and that's a big thing to say because we've had so much talent. So I'm very, very, very excited to see how that how that class pans out. We talked about a lot of things today, man. We talked about Caverna's new look roster. We talked about top 30 to 45 of the biggest transfers in the state. We talked about A lot of things, man. It's been a good episode, dude. I've really enjoyed today's episode. We talked about guys likely to have breakout years. We talked about how good this 28 class is. Then we talked about some coaches that I think are going to have some huge years. Every day is a new day that we get closer and closer to the Kentucky high school basketball season. It's August 13th. We're all waiting for that first week of December for official games. And I'm even excited for scrimmages in November. So, everybody get ready for this high school basketball season that's coming up. It's going to be a great year. I'm really excited to cover it. I'm excited for these weekly episodes leading up to it, man. I don't know how good my math is, but that means we're going to at least have another 20 episodes before season starts. So I'm really excited. And I know you guys are too. Thank you to everybody tuning into the show today. You know, I've not seen this many viewers in the top left corner tune in a while now, man. I mean, we've had a lot of good shows recently that's doing thousands of viewers, but to have this many people in here live at one time is insane. So none of this show is possible without you guys and our sponsors. So I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting myself and the podcast. We'll be on again soon next week, you know, with another show. So I want to say a big thanks to everybody who came in today and supported. Remember, if you are a 2026 through 2029, the number one camp in Kentucky and one of the top camps across the country in Next Up Recruits Elite Exposure Camp is live right now, ready for signups. We got only about 35 spots left. There's going to be 180 kids there performing in front of college coaches and national media. Slam confirmed they'll be there today. So you don't want to miss out. You want to play in front of these coaches. You want to play against your top competition in the state, and you want to play in front of all the scouting services and media there. Come join us. Come be a part of it. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Please contact me if you need any help with registration or getting there. I'd love to help you all out. But let's sign up for camp, man. It's in less than a month. It's a month away from today, so I'm really excited for it. I appreciate everybody for tuning into today's show. Have a great rest of your week. Everybody going back to school. Have a great year. God bless.